Hello everybody, my name is Lick24, welcome back to the channel, and thanks for joining me on this Apocalypse Faction Focus video. Try and say that 20 times fast. Yes, Space Marines done. Chaos Space Marines done. Now, arguably for one of the most iconic races in all 40k, probably one of the most iconic races in all fantasy in general, Orks. Orks are fun. That's a scientific equation you can write down on the blackboard and it'll make complete sense. It's been proven by science. Orks are fun, and that's just it. Still a bit of a myth that they never got a new Gaskell model. I mean, I thought it was a bit of a... They were done dirty a bit in 40k recently. The stuff they got, the new buggies and whatnot were great, but if Abaddon got a new model, I thought Gaz should have definitely got a new model. But that aside, Orks are one of those armies that they just look great. They look great because the potential for kit bashing is just through the roof, and I can imagine an Apocalypse game just facing Orks, just massive boys, all sorts of weird contraptions, killer cans, big mechs, all that stuff, squigoths. They look really good to fight against and to play as. So I'm hoping they're going to get their due and they really get to shine Apocalypse, because they deserve to, for being just so goddamn fun. They're like the football hooligans of the dark 41st millennium, except there's no train for them to get drunk on, and if they do get drunk, you can just shoot them in the face, and it's fine. So, playstyle. In Apocalypse, Orks have an incredible numerical advantage over their foes. Certainly do. There are few problems they can't solve with enough bodies. Indeed, their faction ability allows them to capitalise on their vast volume of giving you free attacks when you roll 6 to hit in shooting or melee. Now, that is, I think, carried over from 40k. Very good rule, I think, with Orks, piss poor shooting as it is, that having a 6 to get another shot or hit in is really, really good, and it's very thematically correct. It's just them fucking making hay, just wading into combat wildly, without care, just letting off shots willy-nilly, really good. I mean, one of them's got to hit eventually, isn't it? I mean, if you shoot enough Dakar at something, something's got to die. So, yeah, we've got the WAAAAAGHHHH. When Orks attack, they do so in overwhelming numbers, a green tide that sweeps away all before it, guns blazing, and choppers brandished ready to fight. Each time you roll an unmodified roll of 6 for an attack made by your unit in this detachment, so this is going to be army-wide. You can immediately make an initial attack at the same target using the same weapon. This additional attack cannot generate more. Not a hit, just another attack. So this second one could miss. It could, but you know, a free attack's nothing to sneeze at, especially when your ballistic skill is as poor as it is for Orks. Of course, it's not just the foot soldiers. A key advantage of Orks Apocalypse is their dizzying array of vehicles, walkers, and war machines. Generally speaking, units of Apocalypse need higher roll for SAT, strength against tanks, than SAP, strength against personnel. Probably, yeah. I mean, Apocalypse is where all the big boys are going to go out to play, all the big vehicles and whatnot, so I'm guessing SAT is going to be more important. You can learn more about how these work in our first preview, which I've covered. In practice, this makes low-power vehicles like killer cans, rucker truck, squig buggies, and the humble truck especially awesome. They just sound fun to say. Your enemy will have to use more firepower on average to destroy them, and you'll have suffered no great loss when they're destroyed. Dread mobs, speedwags alike will both be great in Apocalypse forces. So yeah, lots of buggies, lots of ramshackle vehicles on the table. Sounds absolutely great to me. And there's a picture of what that might look like. Oh, that looks good. Just looks good to play. Orks have access to some nifty characters too. Painboys, mechs, knobs with warg banners. You'll be able to stack up all abilities, custom force fields, and so on, transform even the most meager units into a force to be reckoned with. That is true. Never underestimate the Orks, because they're a lot tougher than you think. Okay, top units. Killer cans. The Ork Dreadnought, except made from old baked bean tins and used cans of white lightning. Choppy, shooty, and only costing a handful of power. Killer cans are perfect for Apocalypse. Now, power. I was wondering this, guys. I mean, are we going to have points values? I don't think we should. I think for Apocalypse, we should just keep it low-key and start using just power levels. Just because there's no way to customize, it seems, to customize units to give them different loadouts. I think everything comes with a standard sort of loadout. So I think power level would be better. I mean, I think it'd be a lot easier tossing together 100 power or 200 power than it was 5,000 points. So that'd be something to keep an eye on. As we've pointed out above, these guys are durable against anti-infantry. I don't know what is wrong with me today, probably because I've just got up. Anti-infantry firepower, whilst their weapons allow them to go toe-to-toe with pretty much anything in the game and come out on top. Don't know about that second statement. I wouldn't go toe-to-toe with a load of skulls if I were you, because you ain't be coming out on top. Or, let me just think, what is the most meanest unit I know? Angrath the Unbound. Yeah, he's pretty mean. Don't think you're going to cut on top against him unless you've got a lot of killer cans. And I mean a lot. Right, their weapons. Big Shooter. Heavy. 36-inch range. Attacks 1. SAP 7. SAT 9. So, Grotzuka. Heavy. Range 18. Attacks 2. SAP 7. SAT 9. Rocket launcher. Blah, blah, blah. You know what? I'm just going to throw this up on the screen. Just look at that. Everything is SAP 7. So, they're not on a D12 system. So you got a slightly above average chance of any one of those, even a Scorcher, which is really strange. Slightly above average chance of injuring, like, standard infantry. Unless you've got ways to buff that, obviously. And strength against tanks, I mean, on a D12, this is going to be hard. You're going to be hard pushed to stick a damage mark or anything with this. Unless there's other mechanics in the game where you can obviously change that outcome, make it an 8 or a 6 or something like that. We've recommended stocking up on rocket launchers to make best use of their decent by Orc standards ballistic skill 4. Right, so they will be hitting on average better than regular Orcs. But, like I said, it's I don't know, that SAP, SAT 7 and 9s, it just doesn't look like you'll be able to really lean into hurting things unless you've got some sort of buffing units, which you probably will have. So I think I'm looking at a fragment of a picture there, not the entire thing. Big mech with shock attack gun. How do you get a snotling to kill a titan? Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on today. Simple. It's all a matter of the force at which you throw it. Very true. You throw that snotling hard enough and it will kill that warlord titan. No problem. Big mechs with shock attack guns are among Apocalypse's deadliest shooting units, capable of dropping 2 shots with the destroyer, which causes 2 blast markers and 6 auto wound, up to 60 inches away. Shock attack gun, heavy, range 60, attacks 2, SAP, SAT, 6 both, and destroyer. Now, what did destroyer do? I think destroyer placed large blast markers, didn't it? Or was it just causing 2 blast markers? 2 large blast markers? Very confusing. But it says here that's enough to nearly scrap an Imperial Knight. So how hard are Imperial Knights if just 2 attacks from this thing isn't enough to nearly destroy it? What's more, big mechs will help you keep your vehicles up and running with their big mechanic rule. Big mechanic. At the end of the action phase, this unit can attempt to repair one friendly clan vehicle unit in base contact with it. If it does so, roll d6 on a 4+, remove 1 damage marker from the vehicle. Only 1 attempt to repair each unit can be made in turn. Now, I can't forget, I can't remember, guys. Is it large? Is it small blast and large blast? Or how does it work? If you've got a few power spare, you need some extra jacket, this guy is your top choice. Now, time for one of the most iconic units in all Apocalypse, in my opinion. The Stomper. The cornerstone for any Orc Apocalypse force. A must-have for any, massive Orc collection. The Stomper. It's a status symbol. It's a big, killy, ramshackle machine. It's beautiful to behold. This is it. The orkiest Orcs model ever to Orc. The Stomper truly shines in Apocalypse, armed with a terrifying array of weaponry, incredibly difficult to put down, and capable of delivering 20 of your killiest models straight to the heart of the battle. Oh yeah, it's a transport as well. The Stomper is awesome because its ability to go the distance in your biggest games, softening enemies up at extreme range. And there are guns there, the Big Shooter, the Death Cannon, Scorcher, Super Gatler, Super Rocket. So I think you're Def Cannon there. It's going to be pretty handy. Attack 6. SAP and SAT both at 5+. Yep, that's pretty damn good. Before getting stuck in with this Mega Chopper, perhaps one of the best melee weapons in the 41st millennium. Mega Chopper. Type, melee, range, melee, attacks, ×2. Ooh. So how many attacks has this thing got? SAP 4, SAT 3, Destroyer. So this thing is a Titan Killer. SAT of 3. Yeah, that'll do it. Our recommendation, get 2. It'll be worth it for the expression on your opponent's face. Yes. The Stomp is great. Don't know, about how effective the weapons are and how the metal will turn out, but just as a model in general, the Stomper is amazing. And the best thing, this just comes back to Orks in general, if you don't like the look of Games Workshop Stomper, and you don't want to buy it, you can build your own. That's the great thing about being Orks. You want your Stomper to be, some other, chassis that you just Orkify, you can do that. That's just the great thing about Orks. Right. Top command assets. So we've had command assets for Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines, and we're going to get some for the Green Boys as well. Orks. Grot Shields. Gretchen are always getting in the way. Handily. Orks use this to their advantage, often using nearby grot mobs as handy bullet shields. So you just, see a bit of incoming, just pick up a grot, put it in front of you. After all, there's plenty more grots in there. You can only include this command asset in your deck if it only includes at least one Gretchen unit. This command asset can be used at the start of the damage phase. When used, it's like one Orks light unit from your army. There's at least one blast marker next to it, and within 6 of one friendly Gretchen unit from your army. You can take D3 of the blast markers from your Orks and place them next to one of the Gretchen units instead. So just switching damage over. Only on Orks light unit. So we're going to have Orks light, Orks heavy, Orks titan, maybe? So, good way of getting rid of damage. On to Gretchen, and who cares about Gretchen? Everyone knows while Orks have some great firepower, there actually leaves a little to be desired. We recommend putting your shootiest unit into single Bad Moons detachment to make maximum use of the armed Tuta Teeth, which allows them to reroll hit rolls. Think about the Daka. Bad Moons' teeth grow with remarkable speed. As Orks use their teeth for currency, this means Bad Moons can afford to lay down a storm of Daka that eclipses the firepower of any other clan. This command asset can be used when you select a detachment from your army, led by a Bad Moons commander, to carry out the order. Before any units in that detachment make the action, excluding free actions in this phase, when used until the end of the phase, you can reroll hit rolls attacks made by ranged weapons by Bad Moons in this detachment. Alternatively, this command asset can be used for making a roll for an attack made by an Orks unit army. When used, reroll that hit roll. So, again, like a previous one, I think it was the Space Marine one, you can either specifically roll all hit rolls for a detachment led by Bad Moons commander for Bad Moons, or you can just use this as an army-wide one and just pick a unit and just go reroll reroll hits for one unit in your army rather than a detachment. So that's pretty good. Help with your shooting, and Orks do need help with their shooting because it's caca-poo-poo. So yeah, Orks, fun to look at, probably fun to play as, fun to build, just fun. That's, if Orks had a tagline in the 41st millennium, it would be Orks. It's fun and it just works. Right, now we've got the faction focus out of the way, we can actually talk about the other Prepare for the Apocalypse article released, part 3. Now, it says here, I'm seeing this for the very first time by the way guys, in our latest peek at the Apocalypse, we're exploring how your master ranks of warriors cause damage to anyone foolish enough to oppose them. We're taking a closer look at how command assets can make your army flexible and deadly. So, covering command assets, it looks like. Damage. As you'd expect, when massive armies and deadly war machines clash, devastation is the outcome. That's what we want, that's why we play 140k, devastation, death, and just general unhappy times for everybody. Fun. The scale on such destruction can be represented by 6-sided dice alone, so Apocalypse uses 12-sided dice too. Of course, this can just mean that there are even more sides that ignore the whisper prayer of anything but a 1. Very true, 12-sided dice system probably is more apt for this. When attacking, using your d6 to see if you hit the target, just as you would in Warhammer 40,000, However, to represent the large scale of Apocalypse battles and the massive deadly weapons that you use, a D12 to see if you cause a wound. If you have a roll of SAP or SAT for the weapon that you using, then the target unit gets a small blast marker. We've looked at SAP and SAT in our latest preview. Catch up on that now if you missed it. If a unit already has a small blast marker at this point, it's removed and replaced with a large blast marker. So if that goes back into what the destroyer weapons do destroyer weapons just cause large blast markers, not small blast markers? Just said blast markers. At the end of each turn, in the damage phase, you then take a saving throw for each blast marker in the unit, but you roll D12 for each small blast marker, and a D6 for each large blast marker. Right, okay. So it's much harder, and sometimes even impossible to pass a save by a large blast marker, because you've got to roll a D6 on it. Right, okay. So you get twatted by the big super killy cannon, or whatever it was with the Orks have. It's Destroyer. Large blast marker. Bang. And you've got a save of 7+. You can't save it, because it's a large blast marker. You've just been twatted by a gun that can punch through a Warhammer time. So that makes sense. For each failed saving throw, the unit gets a damage marker. And when the number of damage markers equals the number of wounds characteristic, the unit is destroyed. Right, so you don't take damage off, you build up damage. It's the same, but it's different. Until the unit is completely removed. Okay. So let's say Gilman is fighting Khorne Lord of Skulls. Wouldn't recommend it. And the Lord of Skulls attacks with Great Cleaver of Khorne. As it gets 4 hits, then you roll 4 D12s and compare the scores to the SAT of the weapon. The Primarch of the Ultramarines is so large he counts as a tank. That's fair enough. So the guy's Great Cleaver. Melee, strength user, SAT 5, destroy. So wounding anything on a 5, and it's a destroy, so you're going to get a large blast marker. Now let's say you roll 3, 8, 10, 11. That's 3 successes. So you normally put down 3 small blast markers next to Guilliman. However, since this weapon has the destroyer trait, the number of blast markers is doubled. Also, since you place markers one at a time, that's also important to remember, this would mean that Guilliman would get 3 large blast markers instead. So they're cumulative. So let's say if you do 5 small blast markers with the damage, and you put 1 down at a time, so every 2 it turns into a big one, every 2 it turns into a big one. So you get 2 large ones and 1 small one. Okay, that's pretty good. Assuming that he takes no further damage in the action phase, this means that Guilliman needs to take 3 saves in the damage phase with a D6. But Guilliman, being a hardy chap that he is, there you can see there, he's got a 3-up save. So he rolls 2, 3 to 5 in a single turn. So he does 1 damage, and he's going to fight back with the Emperor's Sword and do damage to the Lord of Skulls, maybe? I don't know. Right, command assets. Command assets are cards that can have a massive impact on your games of Apocalypse, and we've already taken a look at a few of them in our Apocalypse faction-focused previews. They represent you being in control of the battlefield, issuing extra instructions to your troops, and using esoteric weaponry to defeat your foes. There are 2 kinds of command assets. Universal, which say Apocalypse on them and can be used by anyone, and faction-specific one, which we'll have the name of faction for. As you can see there, Apocalypse, Tactical Flexibility, and Heretic, Astartes, Chaos, Boon. And it gives some... Have a look at that Chaos Boon one. You might be able to glean something from that. Just a quick sneak peek. There are also some command assets, such as Psychic Powers, that can only be used if your army contains certain units. If you don't have any Psychers, you're not going to be firing any mental bullets at the enemy. Fair enough. How they work. Before the game starts, you construct your deck of 30 command asset cards that are available to your army and shuffle them. When in the orders phase, draw 1 card plus 1 card for each warlord in your army up to a maximum of 10. And the text on each tells you the effect of the card when it can be played. So you get to build your deck, but you've got to shuffle it. And you get up to 10. So if you've got a large sort of warlord, because remember, a commander in charge of a detachment is a warlord. So you could have a really warlord heavy army and get larger command assets. With 400 command assets to choose from, there are bound to be some that you want to include in your deck. Some are very straightforward and do things to increase the survivability of a unit. I.e., this one right here, go to ground. To avoid the worst of incoming fire, savvy infantry can quickly make maximum use of whatever cover is available. This might be hitting the dirt, digging in, blending with shadows, or any number of hasty improvised methods to escape danger. This command asset can be used at the start of the damage phase. When used, select one infantry unit from your army that is not in base contact with any enemy units. At the end of the phase, double the result of saving throws made for that unit. So that's good. Basically, you're much more likely to survive any apocalyptic damage you suffer. It's only if you're infantry, though. Some command assets let your units make a free action. For example, Honor the Chapter allows a unit to fight when you play it, meaning that they could fight after making a shooting action, which is normally the only allowed by super heavy units, letting them fight twice. This goes back to what I was saying in the previous video. You either move, you shoot, or you fight. Unless you've got something that can, give you an extra action, like Honor the Chapter here, or, apparently, if you're a super heavy unit, you don't get to do more than one. Every chapter has forged its own tales of heroism and valor, and no battle brother would see that noble record besmirched. This command asset can be used in the action phase. When used, select one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that makes one free fight action. Whilst making this action, you can reroll wounds for that unit's attacks. Right, so it's just one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army, but that's pretty nice. Psychic powers can be particularly gruesome for your opponents, even if you roll badly with Gifted Chaos, for example. You'll put a blast marker next to an enemy character, meaning that they could take damage in the damage phase, but if you roll well, you replace it with a Chaos Spawn. Ooh. Gift of Chaos. As the power of the warp surges to the Psychic's victim, bones snap and flesh rips as a new and horrible form takes shape. Ooh. This command asset is a psychic power. You can only include this command asset in your deck if your army includes at least one Heretic Astartes Psyker. This command asset can be used in the action phase. When you used, select one Heretic Astartes Psyker from the unit to manifest a power, and then select one enemy light commander with an 18 inch to the Psyker. So it's a bit of a sniper attack. And roll 1d12. On a 1 to 9, place one blast marker next to the character. On a 10, that character is not destroyed. No, is destroyed and replaced with a Chaos Spawn. Mint. Unit consisting of one model. That unit is under your control and is considered to be part of the Psyker unit's detachment. Does that mean that spawn gets to attack? I'm assuming it does. Of course, we're not going to miss the opportunity to bring back some old favourites such as the Vortex Grenade. It takes great strength of will to carry the most potent man-portable weapon in the galaxy. Much less prime and throw it. Upon detonation, the Vortex Grenade opens a hole in real space, destroying anything sucked into its radius. This command asset can be used in the action phase. When used, select one enemy unit within 6 of a light warlord from your army. Roll 3d12s for each result of 6. Oh, that's pretty good. One blast marker next to the enemy unit. 6 plus. Oh, I was about to say one result of 6 of d12. That's pretty weird. No, 6 plus. So you've got a better than shit chance of doing damage with that. And that's just a small selection of command assets. Blah 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 blah. That's it, guys. That's all the news update. Orks looking great, and now we've got a bit of clarification how damage works. It's all starting to come together in my head. So destroy weapons cause small blast markers. Small blast markers are then doubled because it's a destroyer, and they turn to large blast markers, which are hard to make a save on, and then you do damage, and once your unit has suffered enough damage, it is removed. Simples. It's all coming together. Like I say, I want to see how the points values for these games are worked out as, or if you can have points. I'm hoping it is just power, like I said earlier in the blurb. So, a big stomper or a Imperial Knight, 50 power. And you can have up to 200 or 400 power in Apocalypse Force. That would make bookkeeping a hell of a lot easier, because bookkeeping is just one of the constant things that we have to put up with in this game. And it does kind of slow everything up a bit. So if we can minimize that, and still have great big games with lots of shooting, murdery, bang, death, that's great. But let me know what you guys think of this faction focus and this real preview below. Please leave a comment if you want to. And yes, that's it for today, guys. I don't think I'll catch you tomorrow when another faction focus drops, unless I do one live, because I'm going to the Lake District to a log cabin for the weekend. But I will definitely do a video if I don't when I get back. But until then, guys, I will catch you next time. See you later.